Welcome back to another Pokemon Throwback Thursday, where every Thursday morning we take a deep dive into a vintage set. We are going in complete order, so the set we're checking out today is XY Flashfire. And now we started a new thing for Throwback Thursdays, where every single Thursday we highlight a certain Pokemon and we look at their best cards in Pokemon history. We did Charizard last week, so we're going to do Venusaur today. Probably going to do Blastoise just to knock out those three. But let me know down below other Pokemon you guys want to see. Yeah, we'll go through pretty much all the cards, and I'll tell you which ones are my favorites and which ones I think are, a little bit undervalued and stuff like that. And then we do have to give a big thanks to our video sponsor real quick, and that is Metatcg. I did all the research, and I found it's the best possible website for you guys to sell your bulk or trade it in for some amazing Pokemon cards. They got a first edition Rockets Mewtwo. They even got a base set 2 Charizard, and honestly, it's so easy to sell your bulk. They even have a video showing you how to package everything, and you literally just fill out all this information, put your info in, tell them how many cards you have. They do have to be near mint. And it doesn't have to be Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, or Yu-Gi-Oh! And then, yeah, you just send them everything, and you can either get some cash or some amazing cards. So definitely check them out. I'll have all the links in the description. And I also have to mention, too, starting today, September 11th, going to the 14th, there's a card show in Minnesota. This is the biggest one in all of Minnesota. I will be there vending and recording, so definitely swing on by. But all right, let's get into it. We got XY Flashfire. 106 cards plus 3 secret rares. Came out May 7th, 2014. So if you guys did not know, this is a Charizard set. We already got 2 Charizard EXs, a Mega Charizard, we got a Magnezone EX, another Mega Charizard, we got Mega Kangaskhan, and then we got the Full Art Charizard, Full Art Magnezone, Full Art Toxicroak, Full Art Kangaskhan. Then we got Lysander, Full Art, Pokemon Center Lady, Full Art, Pokemon Fan Club, Full Art, another Mega Charizard, another Mega Charizard, and a Mega Kangaskhan. And these are the top 10 most expensive cards. As you can see, the top 5, all Charizards. And that's why I hate when people complain about new sets and like art and laziness. Look what they used to do. This is in Flashfire, one of the best X and Y sets. Look at the difference. The word turns gold, and you got a little bit more gold on the outline border. Otherwise, that's it. It's kind of crazy. And if you guys did not know, the blue flamed Dark Charizard is Mega Charizard X, and then the other Charizard is Mega Charizard Y. Just to help, with the confusion, because this whole set is just Mega Charizards. Right, we're going to have to eBay. We got a PSA 9 Full Art Charizard EX for $700 best offer. Lysander for $15. Pokemon Center Lady for $32. Mega Kangaskhan, not the secret rare, for $15. Mega Charizard X, this is the secret rare, for $800. Another Mega Charizard X, this is not the secret rare, for $295. Another Full Art Charizard EX for $125, $200. We got a PSA 10. This is the regular Charizard EX number 11. For $140, not too bad for this old of a set. PSA 10 and a Zard. And then we got the Mega Charizard Y here. This is the secret rare for $160. So if you guys have some of these cards and you're not sure if you guys have the secret rare or not, please go check. The price difference is crazy. Another Pokemon Center Lady Full Art for $32. Mega Charizard X in a PSA 8 for $510. Mega Charizard Y in a PSA 9. This is not the secret rare, for $295. Another Mega Charizard YEX, secret rare for $102. All right, let's get into some PSA 10 sales here. So we got the Mega Charizard EX. This is the secret rare. This is Charizard X. Last sold in a PSA 10, which a couple months ago was $6,256. Before that was $5,700. Next, we have the other regular Mega Charizard EX we just seen the sale, $2,850. Next, we have the Mega Charizard Y. This is the regular one, not the secret rare. Last sold in a 10 was $700. And here is the secret rare, $4,100. Last sold in a PSA 10. It was $55 before that. Next, the Full Art Charizard EX in a 10. Last sold $4,500. That was at the very end of July. Next, Pokemon Center Lady, $1,000. It's a very nice Full Art. Next, Mega Kangaskhan. This is the regular one. Last sold in a PSA 10, $599. And here's the secret rare. Last sold $1,400 and $1,500. Next, we have the Flashfire booster packs. So we got one here at $110. We got the sleeve booster with the Mega Charizard X on it. That art is sick. $199. Mega Kangaskhan, $65. Got the 3 card pack for $25. Let's see here. We got a lot of 5 packs of them for $395. These are the 2014 Power 10s, all sold around $500. Another 3 card pack for $22. What else we got? Pack lot of 3 of the sleeve boosters, $450, all 3 Charizards. We got a PSA 8 Mega Kangaskhan compact for $150. Ooh, we got a nice 3-pack blister here with a Machamp promo that sold for $500. Very nice. You don't see those very often. All right, next we got the booster box. Last sold $7,000, $7,000, $8,500, $8,900. Crazy. All right, let's get to some Venusaur. So these are all the modern ones for the Sword and Shield and the Scarlet and Violet era. And looking at this, Venusaur really got the shaft in the Sword and Shield era. Honestly, did not get much at all. We got the one VMAX promo here, which I feel like a lot of people don't know about this card. It's a promo, but it's super, super nice. And there's also a Blastoise one to go with the Charizard one. But of course, you know, we got Venusaur in 151, which is probably the best Venusaur we've ever gotten. Let me know down below your guys' favorite Venusaur on today's list. It's tough to beat this one. I think there is one that I do like a little bit more. So yeah, we got the Venusaur from 151. It is going up in price. Market price $76 now. Then we got the Venusaur reprint from the Classic Collection. That's that big giant $400 box. And market price $22. The Venusaur VMAX, just talking about that. That's a promo. Market price $19. Then the Venusaur EX Full Art from 151. That's $10. The Venusaur from Celebrations, still market price only $8. I really feel like that's super undervalued. Then we have the Radiant Venusaur from Pokemon Go. That's $5. And then some basic Vs. Then the basic Venusaur EX from Stellar Crown. And then I actually do like this just regular uncommon of Venusaur from Shining Legends, like art-wise. I think it's pretty cool. And the other basic Venusaur EX from 151. And then Pokemon Go has a Venusaur. All right, next, we're going to hop to Pokedata. We got the Celebi and Venusaur Tag Team Rainbow. Love this card. Last sold in a 10, 292, 350, 325. We got Raw at 76, 90, 72, 110. Next, we have the Venusaur and Snivy GX Tag Team Rainbow. And these cards have pretty low pops. 552 in a 10, 341 in a 9. Last sold in a PSA 10, 227, 279. We got Raw at 38, 33, 55, 90. You know, depends on condition. Next, we got one of my favorite cards. I love these clay cards, very nostalgic for me. But this is the Venusaur and Snivy Tag Team. A little bit more graded. We got 1,230 in a 10 and 739 in a 9. Last sold in a 10, 643 and 450 before that. Raw 125, 80, 76, 45. Next, we have the Celebi and Venusaur GX Tag Team Black Star promo. This might be the best Venusaur art we've ever gotten in Pokemon history. Now, again, let me know down below your guys' favorite art. You know, we got the 151 art, which is crazy. This one is just nuts. And then there's one from the X and Y era that I think are like the top 3 when it comes to actual art. But this card, a lot more graded. 2010 in a 10 and 2200 in a 9. 542 in an 8. Raw 72, 51, 60, 68. Very affordable. And last sold in PSA 10 is 560, which was about a month ago on Pokedata, but I checked the newest sales and it's still roughly around there. Next, we have the Celebi and Venusaur GX Tag Team. This card is not textured. And last sold Raw 60, 30, 35, 50. We got a PSA 10 at 325. Next, we have the Venusaur and Snivy Tag Team. This card is also not textured. Last sold Raw 15, 25. We got a PSA 9 at 45, and then a PSA 10 at 197 and 275. Next, we have some full arts. We got the full art Celebi and Venusaur GX Tag Team. Last sold Raw 22, 25, 41, 42. And then we got a PSA 10 at 236 and 300. So many of these Venusaur cards are severely undervalued, in my opinion. Next, we have another full art Venusaur. We got the Venusaur and Snivy GX Tag Team. Last sold Raw 35, 39, 20, 35. And then we got a PSA 10 sale at $300 and $285 before that. Next, this was the card that I was talking about from the X and Y era. And it's got Vileplume up there holding on to a vine. And we got Scyther down below. This card is crazy and extremely tough to grade. Only 66 in a 10. Last sold Raw 63, 200, 54, 99, 128, 162, 144, 202. You know, it really depends on the condition, especially for this card. And then last sold in a PSA 10, $5,040 in the middle of July. And we even got the Jumbo card. I love this thing. in a PSA 10 that sold for $1,746. Next, we have the full art Venusaur from X and Y. Super tough to grade also, only 22 in a 10, 217 in a 9. That sold raw 80, 21, 40, 115, 60, 66. And we got a PSA 10 sale at 4,378. Next, we have the full art Mega Venusaur EX from XY Evolutions. This has a pop of 4,435 in a 10 and 4,000 in a 9. That sold raw 15, 45, 47, 50. PSA 10 at 350, 400, and 441. Next, we have another Mega Venusaur. This is from X and Y base set. This has a pretty low pop also. Last sold raw 10, 13, 10, 17, 25. All right, next we have the Mega Venusaur EX from Generations. And again, I didn't add every single Venusaur. I probably added about 90% of them because there really isn't that many, but I love this Mega Venusaur a lot more than the other ones. There's another basic one that I didn't add that I'm not a big fan of, but last sold raw for this one, 25, 6, 30, 11, 20. We got a PSA 9 at 110, and then we got a PSA 10 sale at $202. I just really like the colors on that one. Next, we have the Mega Venusaur EX from XY Evolutions. So this got up to $254. Last sold in a PSA 10, 145. We got a 9 at 40. Raw 15, 20, 15. Next, we have the basic Venusaur EX from XY base set. There's quite a few basic Venusaur EXs. I couldn't even really find any PSA 10 sales for them either. But last sold raw 6, 7, like $10 if you want it super clean. Next, we got the Venusaur EX Black Star promo from the X and Y era. Again, $5, $10 card. Next, we have the basic Venusaur EX from XY Evolutions. Last sold in a PSA 10, $60, otherwise raw, $5, $10. Next, we have the Venusaur EX from Fire Red and Leaf Green. Very, very nice EX card. It's the only Venusaur that we got that's like this, so it's kind of special in my opinion. But last sold in a PSA 9, 743, 115 raw, 225, 85, and we got a PSA 10 sale at $4,000. And we had one at $3,700 before that. Next, we have the Venusaur Reverse Holo from Crystal Guardians. I love the stamp on here. Probably the best, just regular Venusaur Holo card for this mid-era. I think it's very, very clean. And raw, 17, 22, PSA 9 at 104, another 9 at 179. And we got a PSA 10 at $2,500 and $2,125 before that. Next, we have another basic Venusaur Holo. This is from Platinum Supreme Victors. Pretty cool little card. $8.50. 10. We got a PSA 9 at $54. But yeah, like I said, Venusaur does not really get a lot of love besides in the Sun and Moon era. And I did find a PSA 10 sale of this card at $550. Next, another Venusaur Holo from Secret Wonders. This is the Diamond and Pearl era. Kind of a weird card. Last sold raw 10. PSA 9 at 40. And then we got no PSA 10 sales for that card. And then we got another Holo Venusaur from Dark Explorers. This does come in reverse holo also. A lot of these cards have, a holo and reverse holo. But last sold raw 15, 9, 13. And I do promise it will get better because the vintage Venusaur stuff, in my opinion, is where it's really at. And then we do have a PSA 10 sale at $360. Next, we have the Pokemon Rumble Venusaur, probably the most unique Venusaur on this entire list. Last sold raw 70, 88, 55, 90, 70, 59. And we did have a brand new PSA 10 sale for this card, and it was at $7,600. Just doesn't have a picture for it, but these cards literally have a pop of 10 or something. It's wild. But these are some of my all-time favorite sets to complete because if you actually go and look, it's not that tough of a set. I mean, there's really not that many cards. And a lot of them are very, very affordable. It's very, very unique. They're getting pretty old. Came out in 2009. But I love the Rumble cards. And of course, the Pikachu's the most expensive. Then the Mew, Lucario, Gyarados, Venusaur, Zapdos. So if you guys are collecting a certain Pokemon and you guys have not seen these Rumble cards, definitely check them out. All right, next, we have the Venusaur from Pop Series 2. Such a cool card. Last sold raw $8, $20, $6, $25. And we got a PSA 10 sale here at $750. Next, we have the Venusaur Holo from Expedition. Absolutely love this card. You guys got to check this art out. Just love the long grass. He's standing on top of a Pokeball. But this is where it starts heating up for Venusaur. All right, let's see. Last sold raw, 35, 100, 115, 115, 150, 133. We got a PSA 9 at 230. And then we got a PSA 10 sale at $1,100. And I still feel like that's ridiculously cheap. And we got a box topper here. Such a nice card at $1,000 for Expedition for the Venusaur. Next, we have the other Venusaur from Expedition. This is the reverse holo. A little bit more action with the art. Crazy low pop on this one, but last sold raw, 35, 33, 46. Says we got a PSA 10 at $199. I don't think that's very up to date because there's a newer one. And that sold at $510. And then for that holo Expedition card we looked at, there is a reverse holo that sold for $575. So most of these cards, when they have a holo, they usually have a reverse holo also. Next, we have the Dark Venusaur. So you can get this in Japanese, or you can get this in English. Here it is. That sold PSA 10, $374. It's the best of game promo. Very cool. Very, very unique. Next, we have the Erica's Venusaur. Now, this does come in first edition and unlimited. Probably one of the cooler vintage Venusaurs for sure. I don't know why. I mean, he's literally only on half the card, but I just love it. And last sold in a PSA 9, 700. We got raw at 180, 375, 251. And we did have a PSA 10 sale at 4,675. And remember, there is an unlimited one that is much cheaper. It's crazy. We did have a sale 2 days before that at 2,688. Next, we have the Black Star promo. In Japanese, I think this is the CD promo, but another very nice vintage holo Venusaur. That sold raw 130, 105, 120, 50, 86, PSA 9 at 446. And I could not find a recent sale for this card because it's insanely tough to find. There's only like 10 of them in the world, but someone is asking $82,400 on eBay. But yeah, this card is almost impossible to find in a PSA 10. It even says here, PSA 10 pop is only 9. But they're asking $82,400 for this card on eBay, which is crazy. Next, we have the Legendary Collection Venusaur. Now, this does come in that, famous reverse holo, which we're going to check, but it also does come in the regular holo. Last sold raw, 47, PSA 9 at 116, 223, raw at 60, 75, another PSA 9 at 250. And we did have a PSA 10 sale at $729. Next, here it is, the Legendary Collection Reverse Holo. Now, this is my all-time favorite stuff here. The Legendary Collection Reverse Holo, also known as the Fireworks Reverse Holo, is just top tier. But I will always admit, these newer cards have better art. I like these cards more because I've been chasing these cards for 20-something years. And, I've had a lot of these my whole life, to where these newer cards, I've just seen them in the last couple of years, so I don't have as much of an attachment to them. But I will admit, these newer cards do have way better art. I just prefer these more, and these are a lot more nostalgic. But I feel like most people would agree that the newer cards have better art than the vintage cards. For, 98% of them. Because, they got the full card to do the art with. But last sold raw for this, 175, 265, 225, PSA 9 at 1,000. I used to buy this card raw all the time for 20, 30, 40 bucks. And we got a PSA 10 sale at 4,915. It was at 5,100 before that. Next, we have the Venusaur Base Set 2 Holo. Last sold raw, 60, 57, 51, 56, 49. And then we do have a PSA 10 at $1,125. Just crazy though, you can get a Base Set 2 Venusaur from the year like 2000 for cheaper than you can get the new Venusaur from 151. So again, another very underrated card. I know it's base set 2, but still. Yeah, last sold, $1,125 in a 10. And here we have the Unlimited Venusaur from base set. That sold raw 76, 62, 86, 80, 105, 50. If you can find this card for 70, 80 bucks, really clean, I think that's a very solid pickup. And then, I know the art isn't better than the new stuff we get, but this is history. That's why I love the vintage stuff. Without this Venusaur and this base set card, we might not have what we have today. And last sold in PSA 10, 2,313 and 2,366 before that. Next, we have the Shadowless Venusaur. Love this card. If you guys do not know about the Shadowless thing, there's just no shadow border on this side. You can also tell from the bottom because it'll say 95, 96, 98, 99, and then it will say 99 again. So if it's not shadowless, it'll just get rid of this 199 here. And last hold raw, 210, 105, 185, PSA 9 at 1,175, raw at 200, and then we got a PSA 10 sale here at 3,816. Now for the GOATs of all the Venusaur cards here, we got the first edition shadowless base set card. But all right, last sold in a PSA 9, we got 4,550, 3,650, 3,900, 3,500, PSA 10 at $12,600, and a PSA 7 at $1,755, PSA 9 at $3,270, PSA 3 at $427, PSA 5 at $861. You can't really trust any of these raw sales because when people have like the unlimited Venusaur, they'll think it's the first edition because it's, you know, base set, which is totally understandable if you're newer in the hobby. It totally makes sense. But yeah, you can't really trust those. So yeah, it looks like a PSA 4, 512. I always recommend getting at least a PSA 6 for your binder to crack out of the slab. Looks like that's going to cost you at least like $800. And the last sold in a PSA 10, $13,500. Next, getting to some Japanese. As you guys know, we have some Venusaur cards in the new Mega Brave set. Very, very solid. Definitely some of the better Venusaur cards we've ever gotten. My only complaint is the SAR looks a lot like the full art. So this is the regular Mega Venusaur full art, where it shows, you know, the Mega Venusaur and the regular Venusaur. And then this is the SAR. So I feel like they don't look that different. That's my only complaint. But they're very affordable on the Japanese side. $60, $65 best offer accepted. The full art's like $12. Very curious to see how expensive they're going to be on the English side. All right, next we have the 25th anniversary Venusaur, but this is on the Japanese side. And yes, this is the same card that we got for Celebrations. Theirs just looks a lot cooler with that gold border. Last sold in a 10, 107, 99, 100. A lot of people forget about the Japanese side for the 25th anniversary. You know, this could definitely pop off too for the 30th. And then they even have the Classic Collection, which looks a lot better than our cards. So that gold border is just crazy. And last sold raw 90, 80, 42, 70. Pretty good value for this card, actually. There's no PSA 10 sales on here. And then we have the Japanese Mega card. So if you guys did not know, on the Japanese side, the big word going across the card is actually in English. So if you guys are really big fans of these, it looks super nice to collect the Japanese one and the English one right next to each other. It just looks so nice in a binder. All right, next we have the new Chinese Radiant Venusaur. It's literally like a $5 card, maybe $30 for a PSA 10, $40 for a PSA 10. And this is a Chinese exclusive. They also have a Blastoise exclusive and an Eevee exclusive. So if you guys are really big Radiant fans, these are very, very affordable. Eevee's kind of expensive at a 10. It's like $120 or something like that. And last on the list, we're going to check out the sealed products. Venusaur actually has not a ton of products, but the products that Venusaur does have for, you know, sealed collections and stuff are very nice. So we got the X and Y box, which has that X and Y promo with 4 generations packs and the little Venusaur figure. This thing is top tier. We got a Venusaur tin. And then this is the Sword and Shield VMAX box that I was talking about earlier. The Blastoise and a Venusaur one. And then Venusaur has the tin with the Celebi and the Venusaur. So 2 of the best arts in Venusaur history. You can actually get them in sealed products and display them like that. And then we just got this new Venusaur EX and Blastoise EX premium collection box, which has a solid variety of Scarlet and Violet packs. So like I said, not a ton, but a couple really nice ones with the Tag Team tin and the Red and Blue collection for Venusaur. I think is just crazy. Some of the best sealed products you can even get. But all right, that was today's Pokemon Throwback Thursday. Let me know down below your guys' top 3 favorite Venusaur cards of all time. And then, like I said, let me know any other Pokemon that we're going to do. And I might have a couple episodes where I do maybe some smaller Pokemon that are not nearly as popular and maybe do like 2 of them in one video. Just because some of these Pokemon, there isn't really a ton of cards. But I'm having a blast doing this, so let me know down below. But all right, if you guys like this content, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment. If you guys want to support more, you guys can check out my Instagram, my TikTok, or my YouTube membership. It's only 99 cents a month. But all right, I want you guys to have a great day. And if you guys want to watch my last What If Wednesday, which was a super crazy one, click this video here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.